Is it live?
Oh, we're live.
What's up, people? It's live. It's not live.
100% live.
Come on,
champ. We're here.
Oh, yeah, we're live.
You guys, Brian doesn't do live very often, so he's a little nervous about going live. But we're live.
Yeah.
What's
Earlier,
up? Instagram universe.
we're on both lives. Henner's live and my live. They're synced up. Nor.
So you went online, you went on story, and you said, yo, ask me some questions about jiu-jitsu.
Yes. I told everyone, come ask me some questions about jiu-jitsu. I
And
came
there
to the
was
academy. I told Henner, I was like, yo, we're going to answer in 15-second videos. Henner told me I'm ridiculous for trying to answer a jiu-jitsu question in 15 seconds.
Not of any substance.
Even with how fast he speaks, I thought it was doable, but apparently not. So
we're doing it this way.
So we're going to do it this way.
So we chose the top 10 questions. Brian got 1,000 questions, 99% of which were not about jiu-jitsu, and 1% were jiu-jitsu, and here's the 10 best jiu-jitsu lifestyle related questions, and we thought we'd go live to discuss them with you guys.
All right. Question number 1 is, what is your favorite submission?
They asked you, not me. I'll be here like as a narrator and like.
But I want everyone to know yours and mine, since you get the 2-for-1 combo.
You go first.
Brian T. City Ortega.
And for those who don't know, T City stands for something.
It stands for Triangle City. My favorite submission is Triangle. Lately, well, I might as well just show you guys. I've been working on this new one Henner taught me, which is from the guard. We're here and we're relaxing. And typically, the whole world knows that when you go here and you set this guy up, all what's missing is this foot retracts and we're going to lock the triangle. So everyone just chomps down on this leg and stop this triangle from happening, and it just makes it that much harder for you to get a triangle. But lately we've been here, stage 1, and we do this kind of hand grab. Look, one hand on the head, opposite grabs the wrist, and now I pull down and I push. 2. Now from here on that same side, he's pushing down on my hip, and now watch, I put my foot on the ground, hip out, shoot this guy in, hand is still inside, let go, and now I'm on the triangle. So it's just a new setup, different setup, and it's been working a lot lately. So for what it's worth, check it out, give it a shot, let me know how it works. And if you have a question about it, don't ask me.
Some people don't even know what to do from here, though. Now what?
You lock it up. If you don't know what to do from here, go to university.com and learn how to lock up a triangle.
GracieUniversity.com.
Yes, GracieUniversity.com. All you do is put this hand across, grab the head, put the foot on the hip, bite on the neck, grab the shin, lock it up, and squeeze. Different ways to kind of anti-defend him, right? Or stop yourself from getting this triangle stopped, but we'll talk about that later.
Tight. All right, you guys. What else?
You read the second one.
What is the jiu-jitsu lifestyle without MMA? They're asking Brian. What's the jiu-jitsu lifestyle for you without MMA? What do you think about when you think about jiu-jitsu lifestyle separate from MMA? Because MMA is its own culture, its own world. Outside of that, what is jiu-jitsu to you?
Jiu-jitsu to me is what I started with, and if I can be honest, it reminds me of one of the happiest years of my life, which is when I was a teenager, being here in the academy, just working. It's just come in here, teach kids class, teach combatives, teach adults class, and it's something that I miss. And even when I was teaching this triangle right now, I was like, oh damn, I'm coming back to my teacher roots. So it's tight, but it's honestly, it's just be on the mat. I don't have to worry about going to wrestling practice or striking practice or have to balance all these arts and be the best MMA fighter. You take MMA away from it and you look at jiu-jitsu on a lifestyle perspective, is just have fun, be calm, go to class, do kids class, have fun with the kids, have fun with the beginners, get to watch their growth, and you basically the way it inspired you, you're gonna see it
in other people.
I feel wise, when you see a parent babying a kid till they're like, hey dad, I'm doing this now. Not the same way, but the same way. Because hey, Brian, I'm doing this triangle now. I'm doing this. It's working.
They're growing up right there.
And I see it, and they're growing up in front of your eyes. And it's a beautiful feeling that know that you gave that to somebody. And that's what I miss. I miss coaching. I miss teaching.
The follow-up to that same question is, after MMA, do you still do jiu-jitsu?
Why would you ever ask me that? I signed up. Guys, this is a murder case for me. This is a life sentence.
Jiu-jitsu's in there, huh?
For me, is the jiu-jitsu is a life sentence. I will never stop. And the only way I stop is when my heart does.
Excellent. Next question. Best advice for a white belt. So someone probably sounds like they're starting or they're just about to start. What's the best advice for someone brand new in jiu-jitsu? What would you say to them, Brian?
You're more of the Papa Bear on this, dude.
Shoot.
You have a lot of white belts.
That's true.
Including me, one of them.
This is true.
So, yeah.
So the question is... Yeah, mine's gone, bro. Let it live.
Is it gone? Is it gone? Oh, it's gone.
We'll go on yours.
Henner's not live anymore. So
I'm
whoever was on Henner's...
We're right here, you guys.
We're right here. All right.
So the question is, jiu-jitsu lifestyle, or, for beginners in jiu-jitsu, if you're just starting, oh man, I think the key is to find a good school and that really aligns with your objectives in training jiu-jitsu. Because whenever you sign up at a martial arts school, you really become a product of their training objectives, of their training mindset. And when it comes to jiu-jitsu specifically, and we're very outspoken on this, jiu-jitsu exists as a sport, as a grappling sport, a recreational sport, and it also exists as a system of self-defense. And the vast majority of schools focus, if not exclusively, majority on sportive recreational practice of jiu-jitsu, so a student can train for several years and never actually learn the techniques that will give them the confidence to defend themselves in a real fight situation. So just to make sure that when you go into a BJJ school of any kind, that you make sure that they align with your objectives, and I think you're going to have the best possible journey. And if you're not sure where to start, go to gracieuniversity.com. There's a whole list of 180, 200 schools all over the world that follow our kind of mindset towards practice, and that's a good place to start and see where it takes you.
And that could also go if you already signed up for, let's say, a tournament-based school. You're already there right now, and you're like, no, I want to learn more self-defense. Then you can easily make the transfer and the switch right now because you're still white belt.
You're just a beginner.
You're not committed to that relationship as deep.
Well, here's what's crazy. Even if you're a purple belt, even if you're a brown belt, the reality is you are in the relationship longer, but what you need to ask yourself is, if you're not getting from jiu-jitsu what you expect from jiu-jitsu.
Bro, don't be telling these guys to leave their school, bro.
Go find jiu-jitsu. Well, school.
Find university.
Listen, this is not jiu-jitsu.
Learn your self-defense online. But let them stay.
I see what you're saying.
With their school.
Do it in the secret, in the shadows.
No. Take it to your school. Like, do it with your homies there.
I see.
Well,
okay. Yeah. I feel you.
Henner didn't.
What I'm saying is this. This is not about jiu-jitsu. This is about life. Be in a relationship. Be in any engagement as long as it's the best for you. The second that it's not serving you and the other person, if it's not a win-win, it's a win-lose. And the win-lose always becomes a lose-lose.
This started with a white belt question. Listen, don't quit.
Don't quit jiu-jitsu. Just don't quit. That's the best advice for the white belt. Next question.
Don't get discouraged and absorb all this information this guy just gave right now. What would you say to a 57-year-old starting Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu?
So this is now the older person stepping in. The other white belt, we don't know how old he or she was.
Yeah.
We just know they're a white belt. This is someone older starting Jiu-Jitsu.
It was a girl?
We don't know. We just know that this one is older.
Got it.
So you guys, if
we have a 57-year-old that wants to start jiu-jitsu.
Can they? But what they're probably wondering is, can I even do it at this age? A lot of people wonder, 57, 60, 65, can you start? Let me just say this.
Number one rule.
The Grandmaster trained until 90 plus years old. My grandfather, Grandmaster Eddie Gracie. So absolutely it's doable. The way I look at it is jiu-jitsu is the martial art that you retire into from other martial arts, from the impact perspective. Muay Thai, you're not going to do until 90 years old. Wrestling, you're not going to do past 35, 40 years old. Your whole body's broken.
I mean, unless you're Kevin Ross, then you can do Muay Thai forever.
There you go. But that's the exception. Or Eddie Gracie in Jiu-Jitsu. But the point is, Jiu-Jitsu is the martial art you retire into from other martial arts. You did Taekwondo for 27 years. All your hips are jacked and everything is messed up, or hip replacements. You go do Jiu-Jitsu and you learn some techniques of self-defense, and you learn these grappling, soft, low-impact techniques of self-defense.
And that's what some people think. Like, if you're 57 years old, you think that you're going to come into this room of killers, and you're like, yo, I don't even belong with these young studs who are 20 years younger than me, 30 years younger than me, and they're killing it. You have to go to a school, and that goes to the earlier question. You have to find a school that caters to you. If you want to be an MMA fighter or a tournament star, then they have those schools. If you want to learn how to do self-defense and you have a business that you run, you don't want to go to work the next day with two black eyes, then you have to train something on a more technical base. But don't forget, drillers make killers, and you're in a lab where you're constantly drilling, and you're also preserving and saving your body. And that's why I feel you can do this for life, because you're just training, you're staying sharp, you're keeping the joints basically lubricated.
Mm-hmm.
Your body is moving, you're getting some type of exercise, and you're drilling, and you're getting in shape while not trying to get in shape, and you're also learning and growing at your own pace.
It's for everyone, you guys. It truly is everyone's martial art. But like Brian said, finding the right school is critical. And yeah, we can help with that if you guys have questions.
Question number 5. I said I was only going to answer 5 questions, but since we have you on live,
We're going all the way.
Rener wants to shoot for 10, double or nothing.
Question number 5.
Question number 5. How often should I train?
It's a great question. What do you want? Well, you get what you put in.
What
right?
do you want in
you
life?
You get what you
right
put
now?
in. You want to be T-City at the top? Guess what? He's
6
training
days
every
a
day,
week.
twice a day, morning and night, sessions everywhere. So it just depends what you want from it, you guys. But I think that, just so you know, here at Gracie University headquarters, the average student trains 2.7 times a week. You know, some train 2, some train 3, some train 1, some train 5, some train 6. People get the initial excitement. They get all addicted and they train every day. Remember those ones?
But it also depends on how hard you train, too.
How hard you train. Exactly.
Yeah. You don't want to train 3 days out of the week hard, or 4 days, and then the next week you're going to show up all burnt out.
You know what's crazy? The frequency of people's training went through the roof. It really increased for everyone when we had sparring and technique. So there was an hour-long technique advanced class and then 30 minutes of sparring. What we did is, instead of making it a 90-minute class where sparring was part of the class, we made it 60 minutes of technique, 30 minutes of sparring. And after the technique portion, students are allowed to check out. So that means they could come 5 days a week, do technique, and not have to feel like they have to get their body all beat up that night. Because
and then you can choose to spar the 30 if you want to say, all right.
You can choose. Well, you can spar 2 nights a week, but train 5.
Yes.
There was not this pressure. When the sparring is built in, this is free advice for every business owner out there who teaches Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. But if you merge them together, people won't show up to the class.
If they don't want to be that guy who's sitting on the wall. Or everyone making fun of, like, yo, that guy dipped when sparring came.
Or they just don't want to spar. So they don't even come to class.
Or you
feel me? They just won't show up.
But I'm looking at, like, making an excuse wise. Or
I see. I
can be like, yo, man, like, I only had 1 hour because I had to go home and do this. And
there
do
you
that.
go.
I can't do the extra half hour, but I will do it on Friday.
But if you require everyone to say, hey, guys, go get some water. We'll see you back on the mat in 30 seconds if you want to stay and spar. By splitting it up, the retention went through the roof. The frequency of attendance went much higher than it ever was because guys didn't feel that pressure to fight for their life every single night. And at a healthy school, you're not fighting for your life any night. You're training collaboratively with great partners.
And if you do want to fight for your life, then you get more mat time.
Well, then you get more mat time and tougher training partners, and you just tell Brian to turn on the switch, and then you got, craziness.
Got it. Number 6.
How do I stay motivated when I'm not the best person in the room? That's a good question.
My whole life. Till I became one of the best persons in the room.
That's a good question for Brian, because you weren't the best for a long time.
That sucked.
Okay, then how did you, what made you come back when you're 16, 17, 18, and there's like 80% of people could still tap you, and you could tap a few guys, like you're climbing the ladder, but you're mostly getting beat. What do you think at that point?
I said this in interviews recently, right? You have to fall in love with losing is number 1. Because losing is learning. Put the ego chip on the side, and just remember, like, the more you're losing and learning from it, the better you are becoming.
Right.
The way I did it was, okay, let's say when you gave me my belt, my blue belt at 16, I jumped in with the big boys. Now all these blue belts I've been training for a while. One, I was younger, so that's my ego, right, speaking. But it's like, okay, all these guys are submitting me. If you're not the best guy in the room, survive everyone as much as you can. That's your first step. Jiu-jitsu, getting better survival for me, on the way I look at it, is survive everyone, try to survive them, and even count your victories. If I survived you for a minute, it was better than 30 seconds.
I see.
Next time I roll with you, and especially for you, it was like, all right, this guy, every time I roll with him, within 30 seconds, he's tapping me. I'm going to make it hard for him. I'm going to make sure this one round that we do of 5 minutes, he only catches me once or twice. And then eventually it came to the point where these guys, when I did it long enough, these guys would not be able to catch me. Once they stopped catching me, the tables flipped. I started catching them. I started getting better. I started giving them a run for their money. And by the time I kind of popped out of that little journey, I popped my head out to see where I I was getting handed my next belt. They're like, congratulations, now you're a purple. And you're like, what the heck? And you're like, all right, cool. And then you do it again. And it doesn't, at least for me, it hasn't stopped. As long as I have you in my life, I will never.
So your definition of victory.
I will always be second, third. I don't know. You got Hito and you got you. Yeah.
So that's it. So Brian's definition of victory, you guys, is what sounds like what it changes. True for me too. At 15, 16, 17, I had slews of black belts above me that were just having their way. But and what's crazy is your definition of victory changes as you get older, as you peak in your athletic prime. And then what happens is you're going to get older eventually, where you go from 30 years old to 40 to 50. So then you go like this, and then you come back down. So what's important is...
And that's what I'm waiting for.
You have to change your definition of victory with your age, both your kind of pre-maturity, your maturity, and then your kind of post-maturity phase, right? Your older age phase, you also have to get to that point. My grandfather, when he was 90 and he was doing jiu-jitsu, and there was some tough guys in the room, he didn't think victory for him was beating those guys up and submitting those guys. He would lay down and let Big Boy get on top of him and say, you, submit me, in Portuguese, and I would translate for him, and he would just lay down, and he would just Yoda, like, bah, 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 and he would defend the submissions, and then the guy would be like, man, I can't. And he'd be like, yeah, all right, get off.
I won.
It was his victory. So your definition of victory determines ultimately what you take and how patient you are with the learning process. Number 7. How does Gracie Jiu-Jitsu translate to everyday life? Someone asked Brian. So off the mat, separate from even doing Jiu-Jitsu.
Train around us.
Someone who asked that? Yeah.
I'm not going to mention who you are. But you're the homie, so I'm going to hook you up with a question.
Listen, they know. They know what the question asker here knows is that jiu-jitsu is way beyond fighting.
And just so you know, my phone spelled Joy-Jitsu. Because you know how happy I am to do it. How happy I am to train. Joy. It brings joy to your life.
So the question is, what are the implications? Well, I can speak for me personally. I use jiu-jitsu on the business front 1,000 times more than I ever use it in street fights, because I don't get in street fights. It's virtually impossible to instigate me into a street fight. So I use it way more on the business front. So the principles of jiu-jitsu applied to business for me, we've done other videos on that. He's even part of one of those dope videos that we did. Yeah. Is the number one implication. For me, it's all about efficiency. It's all about achieving more with less. Jiu-jitsu, technique, whatever you have is enough. As long as you leverage your position, use your opponent's energy and strength against them, maximize the leverage you have, aka alavanca, as we call it in Portuguese, then the translations are limitless. Okay, so to me, we do jiu-jitsu not for the fight. We do jiu-jitsu, well, he does because it's his profession. But for everyone else who's not fighting professionally, you do jiu-jitsu for the lifestyle implications and benefits.
But not only that, life is better when you're confident in who you are, what you do. And it's weird, but the fact that you can defend yourself.
It's true.
I can walk into any store and not have to worry about anything.
You're right.
Even before I was a fighter, I can walk somewhere and be like, yo, if something went down.
Right. I feel you.
Yeah, and once you take away that fear, not all fears, but you take that fear out, I can comfortably be somewhere. I can comfortably start speaking to people. Because I was quiet I didn't speak.
Shoot.
I didn't speak.
I didn't know Brian had a voice until he was like 15, 16.
Like,
the first whole year, you're right, 16, 17.
It took me...
Never spoke here.
I had to be able to catch... Like, once I started catching adults, then I had confidence to speak.
It was crazy.
Other than that, I didn't speak for 2 years.
Can you imagine if Brian was just like this? I'm like, do this. He was like, I'm like, go fold those towels.
No confidence.
I don't know what it was, bro.
It was no confidence.
You were savage on the mat.
I'm afraid, but I'm afraid in the room still.
Interesting.
It was weird.
So as your confidence developed in your fighting capability, then you started to open up and you became more comfortable.
And now I just don't shut up.
No,
you can live life
so
happier.
Awesome, you guys.
So
Brian,
how it translates as life is.
How about when we would teach together, and I'd be like, Brian, you teach this move, and you were like, you see Brian's face. I'm like, Brian, you're teaching the next move. We would be teaching like a kid's class.
No, you would put me on blast.
I know.
It was like, okay, guys, line up. Everyone lines up. 65 students. I'm like 17 years old. He's like, it's your slice. You teach it.
Or I wouldn't even say that. I'm like, all right, Brian's gonna show this next move right here, you guys. Check this out.
I was like, oh,
got him.
Fun. I was so scared. Then my fear came back.
Brian's fear of speaking.
No, but you know what you told me was like, bro, you can submit everyone in this room.
Bro, they're all babies to you.
So you should be able to teach them.
Just talk to them.
And then that's, see, so the fact that if you can beat someone up or you can submit someone,
You can speak up.
you can speak up. And how it translates to life is that you're just confident. Confident, happy, successful. It all translates to life.
There you go. If you can beat them up, you can speak them up. Confidence.
Got it. All right, next question.
Number 7. Number 8. Have you ever submitted Rener?
I like to say no. He likes to say yes.
There was that one time, bro. It was legit.
But when you
It was
roll,
legit.
when you roll like over 5,000 times, I don't know how many times. There's a saying called, it says even a trash can gets a steak every now and then, which means I have caught him slipping maybe.
He did, yeah.
He only has one that he legitimately remembers. I still think he kind of gave it to me, and he put himself a little deeper in that hole than he would like. He would have liked to. But if it was like we had a crowd, you would have never.
Nobody would have known.
You would have never stuck your head in there to begin with.
No, there was a crowd. There were some other coaches watching, and there were some people on the sidelines. So we were training for Brian's fight. I think it was for Frankie.
Yeah.
We were training for Frankie, and we were after it. And Brian was in top shape, and he was. You saw that fight. He was on all cylinders. And I'm not training professionally, and I'm teaching every day, and I'm staying in great shape. Gracie did, healthy diet, the whole thing. But at this point, I was like, all right, we're just pushing. I went for a takedown. He wrapped the guillotine. I was just like, I'm going to take him down anyways. And I did, and I was like, I'm going to get out anyway. It doesn't matter. I'm getting out of this no matter what. I didn't get out. So, like Brian's right. I got myself in a hole deeper than I can cloud my way out of because he was, and I was like, this is the tightest guillotine he's ever caught me in. I'm going to wiggle out. And I gave myself like 4, 5, 6 seconds, but then I knew. Even a trash can gets a steak.
Let's go, dude. All right, we're at 9, almost done.
Number 9.
How can I learn jiu-jitsu if I'm broke?
Good question.
Stimulus checks just came out, $600 a month. They're not a lot. They're not a lot. They suck. That's a whole nother subject. But to train with my boy and learn his system, which I recommend you do. There's YouTube and other stuff out there, but you don't know what you're getting. It's $20 a month.
GracieUniversity.com is $20 a month, you guys.
$20 a month.
And you can learn jiu-jitsu. Listen what's crazy. This is what's crazy. We have 186 schools around the world. Over 80% of these schools that we have all over the world began learning jiu-jitsu online through Gracie University. Now, they eventually come out here and get certified as instructors, and there's a process to go through. But the journey began in their garage. Oh, you can't learn online. Yes, you can.
And right now, it's kind of the only option you have.
Yeah, you're stuck at home with COVID anyways. So log on to GracieUniversity.com. First, we have 30 lessons, all these dope lessons and PDF download and self-defense handbook. All these things are free. You just log on for free. Once you look at all the free lessons, we do that because we know you're going to like it. Then you go, man, I love it. I want to sign up. And then $20 a month. Your Gracie Combatives, you have full access. You can log on anytime from any mobile device, any computer, and you can watch lessons in your garage, get down with a family member, and you can learn. All you need is one partner. And if you don't have a partner, on GU we have 296,000 people who would love to partner with you. Tell them.
Sold. I'm signing up. All right, last question. And we're saving the best for last. If you haven't tuned in right now, you should tune in. I don't even know if I want to do this one.
It was an official question. You got to answer it.
It was an official question.
Hey, you got to answer. You got to answer, you guys. Thumbs up. Thumbs up. You got to answer. You got to answer.
How does Rener escape your triangle?
First of all.
So, guys, the class is over.
He doesn't want to show it. Listen, first of all,
There's
you guys.
one he does that always works.
Let's show it. Listen, the frustrating part is this. Is that if I get in, put it this way. Of the triangles I get stuck in, like realistically, if I put myself in triangle setup, I don't even put myself into it. I defend the triangle by not getting in. My grandfather always said, don't defend the submission, defend the position from which the submission takes place. I defend the opportunity for the triangle. I don't defend the submission itself. But if he gets the submission, gets deep into it, there's a move that I try. And of every 10 times that I try it, 2 times it'll work, 8 times it'll fail. So we gotta understand the ratio. So right, anytime you escape a submission that's locked, it's a wish. You're hoping there's a kink in the armor and you can exploit that to make your escape. So let's show what we do in those 2 out of 10%. 2 out of 10, that 20% out of the 100. So as soon as he locks right here, okay, because what Brian wants to do is lock and create this angle and get this way. In order for this to work, he wants his hips out here. So right when he gets the triangle set up, right when I block his hip, put my elbow on the ground. And then I go under and I feed his hip and I hug the knee and I create this angle. Once I do, my hand comes in and I frame my head and I slip out. So triangle set up. As soon as he does, I block his hip and I walk to this side, checking his hip.
Yeah, it's hard to even keep up right now or even push this away. Then he grabs my hip.
Other hand grabs the hip, right? And then I do this. Boom.
Then he just stops. And then from here, it just becomes...
Kind of a weird stalemate, right?
Yeah,
it's like,
we're at a stalemate.
And you got to watch out because he'll leg whip up and catch the guillotine right here
And
sometimes.
what I've been doing from here, actually, is I did it one time.
You did, I remember.
And you escaped, but I got close to submitting him.
Yeah.
And it was... He did this one, and Maya was like, all right, come in here, switch, reverse, and get like a reverse triangle and lock it up from here. And we were stuck in there for a while.
Yeah, it was tight. It was tight.
And you finally escaped, and I was pissed.
It was tight.
Because I thought I had it. So just make sure they don't start getting up and like doing a reverse triangle.
Block the hip, check the hip, hug the knee, and then what I do is like this little space right here, I put my frame, and I hold my head and I frame out the back, and then I start to pass to the back right there. So the key is controlling Brian's hips from scooting in the direction that he wants to scoot in order to actually get that full triangle lockup. That's the best bet, you know, in that situation. But again, you don't, that's 2 out of 10, so I don't want to even gamble with that. So I'm like, I don't even get in triangle setup. I stay away at all costs, and if he catches it in the scramble, boom, I'm like, I block the hip, and I hope for the best. And it gets squirrely, though, you guys.
Not bad.
Thanks for joining us.
Yep. Thanks for joining us. Holy S. Did you guys like it? Hope you guys liked it. And yeah, we have a lot of questions we're not gonna go
We'll get those in the next one, you guys. We'll do
next
round 2.
one. And if you guys did like this, we'll try to do this when we get together and maybe do like mini little seminars or little questions here and there. And hopefully you guys learn.
Knowledge, jiu-jitsu, lifestyle. Thank you guys. We'll see you next time.
Later, guys. How do you end this?
I don't know. You press like that.
Oh, okay.
And